Hello everybody, this is Hockey Pones and you are watching a shift-by-shift video with commentary on 2015 draft-eligible player Pavel Zacha of the Sarnia Sting. As with all of my previous shift-by-shift videos, this is not a highlight reel. You can get plenty of those elsewhere, and again, I always think it's better to just get a full picture of how player plays and his styles and strengths, and I don't think highlight reels are fair to the players. So let's get on to the game where Sarnia loses in overtime 3-2, but Pavel Zacha gets 2 goals. So I'm veering a little bit from my plan here. I was going to do several World Junior videos and then I was going to do Zacha, but you know what, I've had a lot of people requesting him, and I could have done the World Junior videos because he played for the Team Czech Republic, but you know, he just didn't get as much ice time, and as I've said before, I like to get videos where we get more footage and we can get a better idea of how players play. And so on that note, I wanted to thank everybody again for not just viewing the videos, because that's why I do them if I wanted to just look at the games, that I do it myself. So thank you for watching them, but also of course thank you so much for the feedback. People have told me that they've liked me freezing the frames and adding special effects and stuff like that, and so I will do that a lot more judiciously, hopefully to the point where it's not distracting or taking the game away, but this allows me to provide more commentary without trying to rush through and basically go on rambling tangents and then lose track of what I was going to say about the player. So let's get on to our first freeze frame right here. Zacha is coming in from the off wing on his backhand. This is very important because that's how he's going to score his 2 goals later on in the game. Spoiler alert, but that's not until a little bit later. But I just want to bring that to your attention because he has a tendency to have that approach where he likes to enter the zone with speed, and more often than not he comes in on his off wing. So usually he plays center. As I've mentioned before, I like to get recent games of players, and so this one is from January 15th, I believe. It's one of the last games Zacha played before going down to injury. He had some kind of upper body injury, and so he's expected to be out for 3 to 5 weeks, which is pretty significant amount of playing time considering it's his draft year. But it's been even more difficult to get footage on him because he has missed quite a few games. He has been suspended twice this season, and he also had the injury, and then he played in the World Junior Championships. So he hasn't played a whole lot of games for Sarnia, but on that note, he is still the productive player. He is a rookie, and I believe as of this recording he has the second highest point per game scoring rate out of all the rookies. I think just Paul DeBrincat of the Erie Otters is scoring at a better clip than him right now, and his teammate Jacob Chikrin has a good ratio too. I think he's third. And so one of the best qualities of Zacha, at least in my opinion, is he has incredibly soft hands and just very soft passes, and he handles and protects the puck very well. We're going to be seeing in a few seconds here. I'm going to be freezing it, but Zacha is going to get in a little bit of trouble with a few Kitchener Rangers surrounding him, but he manages to get the puck and control it and pass it back to the point to keep the forecheck going. I do think he has a tendency to overhandle the puck, but again, I've mentioned it with a lot of these prospects, that's very common, especially when they do have very good puck skills. They have a tendency to try to do too much, and it's just a maturing process. I also think that Zacha is a very fast skater. I've read some people say that he's not fast, and I think that they're confusing not being fast with not moving his feet. And that's something I'm going to harp on numerous times, and it's actually going to be coming up in this shift in particular, where we're going to be seeing a tale of two speeds, and I'll get into that once we get closer to the exact moment. But basically, I consider Zacha to be a breakout catalyst. You see him skate with good speed through the neutral zone. He generates a lot of speed from the defensive zone when his teammates have the puck and they give it to him, and he's able to enter the zone with a great deal of speed. And so we're going to be seeing that again in just a moment here, where Chychrun has the puck and Zacha is not in the scene right now, but he's going to be generating speed through the neutral zone. He gets the puck and he's able to initiate the attack. Conversely, he gets the puck right here and he's going to lose the puck, and the Rangers take control and they're going to get it on a breakaway or a semi-breakaway, and Zacha is nowhere to be found, which I have issue with. Because in my opinion, if you are good enough to skate into the opponent's zone with speed, then you are good enough to skate into your own zone with speed. But he's a rookie, so I'm not going to harp on that back too much, but it's something that I'm going to be harping on a few more times in this game anyways, so I'll just bring it to your attention. And so I mentioned earlier about how Zacha has a tendency to try to do too much with the puck, and we're going to see it again here in just a moment, where he has a few players surrounding him and he could either pass to the right wing or pass to the point, but he holds on to it a little bit more. He still makes a good play out of it, don't get me wrong, but again, as he gets to the professional ranks, I don't think too many coaches are going to be too happy with a player risking losing the puck, because the professionals will not let him hold on to the puck that long. And apparently I cannot talk right now. The point is, he could have passed it back to the point, which I think would have been the best option, but he held on to it a little bit too long. And in this shift here, I'm going to harp on the breakout a little bit, where he is leaving the zone and his teammates do not have control of the puck yet, which I think is dangerous. And again, he's just going to have to learn this stuff as a rookie, because they weren't able to establish the breakout and Rangers get control of the puck, and again, he's nowhere to be found. Either way, I mean, it's about learning the system, and I just don't want to harp too much. I've said before, this is just one game, and I don't want to evaluate one player just based off of one game. It's to give you an idea of his style of play. Trust me, if I were to be evaluated on one particular day of work, then I could be either the greatest employee ever, the biggest disappointment ever. But not everything is bad, of course. Zacha is still considered one of the top prospects of the 2015 draft. I've mentioned how he is a very fast skater when he moves his feet, and he is very good at controlling the puck, although sometimes he tends to overhandle it. He also has some very good reads on the forecheck. In this particular point, he could have gone over to his left and tried to help dig the puck out, but he instead goes over to the right to help establish the forecheck, because he could see that that's where the puck would go. There was just no other place for the puck to go at that point. So I thought that was a good read, and I think that he played that very well. You also saw him throw his weight around a little bit, and I think that that is a good sign. I like that he does have that competitive edge where he does play the body and, you know, plays with grit. I think that competitive nature is one of the key things that we should evaluate players on. And on the one hand, he doesn't move his feet nearly as much as he should, but on the other hand, he does throw his weight around. So it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of how hard he plays. He did get suspended a couple times, once for a slew foot, and then the other, I think, for a charge. So there is a little bit of a discipline factor, and he needs to rein it in a little bit, but overall, he's a solid player. And I think he can only get better. However, this is what happens when breakouts go bad. Zacha is already leading the zone, and his team clearly does not have control of the puck, and so he has to circle back around and dawdle around a little bit, and then he finally recovers the puck. But again, it's just a very sloppy breakout that Zacha, again, will just have to learn to time himself a little bit better. Again, he's a rookie, so I'm not trying to say that he's bad defensively or that he's a bad teammate or anything, so I hope that people don't misinterpret what I'm saying here. I'm just trying to point out things that he does right and things that he does wrong. And we're going to see another issue in this very same shift, and I had mentioned it earlier about how Zacha is not very fast in terms of getting back defensively, although he is in the defensive zone now and he is helping with the breakout. But we're going to see Sarnia lose control of the puck, and Kitchener recovers, and they enter the zone. The puck's been in the zone for 5 seconds already, and Zacha's 4 teammates are already here, and Zacha is nowhere to be found except for right now. And I just think that he's going to have to learn to work his timing a little bit better and learn to just pace himself better, where he's going to have the energy to skate back defensively and help as much as he skates forward offensively. And if you're a follower of my videos, or if you've seen the other ones, you'd know that I am a big fan of utility and two-way play. And the end of this particular shift, Zacha is again behind on the play, and he's really not moving his feet a whole lot to get back defensively, and he probably could have tried to break up the pass or tie up the scorer, and he didn't, but why freeze frame that? To continue onto the topic of utility, in this game both teams only had 1 power play, and you saw Zacha was used on the power play at the end of the first, and he was not used on the penalty kill. And I don't want to hold that against him. He's a rookie, and he's an import. He's trying to learn the game, so I don't bring it up to use it as a knock against him, just so much as to say that for him to be a more complete player, which is what I'm a fan of, I like the well-rounded players who help the team win in every aspect of the game, not just offensively, even though offense is fun to watch. I just think that as Zacha matures, he's going to have to learn to round out his game a little bit to just help his team win. And as he learns the North American game and just becomes more confident and learns to pace himself better, I think that he will reach that level. So Zacha is quite the mixed bag of qualities that I look for in a prospect and in a player in general, which is the competitiveness, utility, and two-way play. I haven't talked about his vision or his puck skills yet, but we're going to do that in the third period, where it gets used or seen a lot more. So I've talked about puck skills and fundamentals before, but of course I'll talk about it again here. I'm not really big on it. I mean, it's not that I'm not big on it, but I don't put as much emphasis on fundamentals as other people do. I just think that skating, for example, it's a very correctable issue, although Zacha has no problem with skating, except for willingness to move his feet. With puck skills, I think that there's a certain degree where after a player reaches a certain age, then he doesn't get a whole lot better. So I think it's good to have some, because those usually don't drastically improve as players get older. So some skill is important. In this shift, spoiler alert, Zacha is going to score a goal, and we see it generated here because he does wait until his teammate has clear possession of the puck, and he's leaving the zone with a good deal of speed, which allows him to retrieve the puck and split the D, and he goes on the backhand to score a goal. And so when I pointed out earlier how he likes to enter the zone on the backhand and generate some speed, that's why. So back to the puck skills. Again, I just don't put as much emphasis on them because I've seen plenty of players throughout the years who have had a great deal of skill and they just don't do anything with it. So, I mean, to me, it's good to see good players, but it's good to see better players, if that makes any sense at all. Best player I can think of off the top of my head is Robbie Schremp, who, if you don't remember who he is, there's a good reason. He was great with the puck, but he ultimately just didn't commit himself to the professional game where he was able to make it in the NHL. Going back to this game, though, I've harped on Zacha not getting back quick enough to help defensively, but I wanted to stop here just to show how he does help his team defensively. He's in the corner and the team is hemmed in their zone, but he does help, so keep that in mind. Because for as much as I harp on Zacha for not getting back, I do think that objectivity is important here, because that's what the whole point of these videos are. I'm not here to pump any particular player's tires. I'm trying to be fair and provide an objective point of view. So when a player does something particularly good, then I think it's important to point that out as well. And it's not that he did anything particularly spectacular during that shift or during this shift, but again, it's that willingness to just help support the puck and help the teammates that I think systemically helps the team long term. So Zacha's willingness to do that is a very good sign. I haven't talked about size at all, and Zacha is listed at 6'3", 210 pounds on the OHL website. In terms of size, again, I don't put too much emphasis on it. Of course, if a big player can do the same thing as a smaller player, then I think that the big player is just going to be better, provided that the big player actually uses his size. And I think that sometimes smaller players, of course there are exceptions, but the smaller players just have a tendency to get out-muscled on the puck, or they just are more prone to get hurt. So I don't get too big on small players, but that's just my opinion on size. Zacha does help further here. He does back check a little bit more, which gives his defenseman confidence to press the forechecker. So again, I just want to freeze frame right there to show another good thing that Zacha did. And in previous videos, I've used vision and hockey sense interchangeably because I think that the two go hand in hand. In Zacha's case, I think that he has very good vision, although in this particular shift he's going to have what I think is a little bit of a bad read, even though all's well that ends well. He gets the puck, and instead of passing it back to the point where the defenseman might have a better shot, he passes it to the slot where his teammate gets the puck, but he's not able to generate any offense immediately. The puck gets moved around a little bit more, and they're able to keep the puck in and generates more pressure. But again, I think that it might have been better served to pass back to the point. That's just me questioning his decision, even though I think that sometimes that's not very fair to very fair to players either, because the players, they just see things differently and they have to make decisions in a split second, and I have the luxury of video review and watching it multiple times. So we're now getting into the last minute and a half of the game, and Zacha has only scored 1 goal, and OMG, what is going to happen? I'm going to tell you, it is a play that we've already seen a couple times that I stopped and I pointed out, hey, pay attention to this because this is going to be important later. Here is Zacha generating speed on the breakout. He waited until his team had possession of the puck, and they're going to give it to him, and he is able to enter the zone with a lot of speed, and he makes a backhand and it deflects into the net. So we are now going into overtime. Unfortunately, you are not going to see the game-winning goal because Zacha was off the ice when it happened, but Sarnia lost anyways. They lost 3-2, and so I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody who's watching, and I'm trying to still get a better handle and just learn how to do this better. So thank you so much for the feedback, and thank you for watching yet another video, or if it's your first one, thank you for watching the first one. I hope you continue to watch more. And so Zacha is going to break out his man here, and that's it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.